Hello, my name is Andres Arguelles, and my proposed study explores the effects of media type on parents' perception of returning to school amidst COVID-19. To begin to answer the question of the effects of media type on parents' perception of returning to school during COVID-19, we have to begin by addressing the misinformation circulating in social media. Arcu et al. 2020 defines misinformation as the proliferation of fake medicines, fake news, and medication misinformation surrounding COVID-19. Arcu claims that misinformation regarding COVID-19 encouraged the use of fake essential medicines, such as chloroquine and hydroxychloroquine. As a result, police have seized tens of thousands of counterfeit medicines and medical supplies claimed to cure the coronavirus. This example of an illegal black market fostered by misinformation demonstrates that media has an effect on people's perception of safe treatments for COVID-19. To understand why people's perceptions are influenced by misinformation, we need an understanding of human psychology. The article Cognitive Bias and Public Health Policy During COVID-19 Pandemic by Harper proposes cognitive biases that may explain the behavior of people during COVID-19. The proposed biases are optimism bias. The bias leads people to act as if the best case scenario is the most likely outcome. Present bias, preference for immediate benefits rather than delayed larger benefits. Omission bias, prefer to not act and fail than to fail as the result of taking action. For example, to rationalize not taking the COVID-19 vaccine, people will rather die from not taking the COVID-19 vaccine than to die from taking the action of taking the vaccine. Furthermore, Hurek et al. 2020 explains more cognitive biases that influence behavior, such as information ignorance bias, ignoring information that threatens moral feelings or self-esteem, motivational bias, too much information on a topic causes people to ignore or be overly suspicious of the information since they don't have the cognition available to process every article. Confirmation bias, believing news that confirms what you already believe. Most of the proposed biases can be understood from a cognitive dissonance perspective created by Leon Festinger, 1959. Cognitive dissonance occurs when people have inconsistent cognitions or beliefs, which result in people rationalizing their beliefs, often through cognitive biases to reduce their inconsistent cognitions. However, cognitive biases may not paint a full picture. Studies exploring parental responses to social and safety needs of school-age children during COVID-19 reveal underlying factors contributing to people's perceptions of COVID-19. This study claims that parental socioeconomic status, sex, age, level of income, and level of education have a significant influence on safety needs of school-age children. Specifically, parents with low socioeconomic status were the least likely to reinforce safety concepts at home and also the least likely to provide protection. If that is the case, socioeconomic status may be a predictor of COVID-19 perceptions. With this research, we can begin to answer if media type does have an effect on parents' perception of returning to school during COVID-19. Given the research, I propose the following hypotheses. The first being that parents from low socioeconomic status will significantly value COVID-19 precautions less than parents from high socioeconomic status. Second hypothesis, parents exposed to misinformation will believe it is significantly safer for everyone to return to school than parents exposed to verified information. Third, parents exposed to misinformation will believe it is significantly less necessary to have COVID-19 precautions in place than parents exposed to verified information. To test that hypothesis, a within subjects design will be implemented with 3 conditions relating to media type. The conditions include a control with neutral news, misinformation, and verified information. Each condition will present a 3-minute compilation of news clips. To operationalize the conditions, we will have 100 iterators categorize media clips into the 3 types: neutral, misinformation, and verified information. The iterators will be licensed doctors specialized in COVID-19. To minimize iterator bias, we will have 100 licensed doctors not related to the study Rate the iterators' media types to see if they agree or disagree. If 90%, 98% or more agree, then the material will be used. If less than 98% agree, then the iterators will categorize media into the three types again. To measure independent variables, a demographic survey and a custom stance on returning to school during COVID-19 survey will be used. The demographic survey will ask parents for their age, ethnicity, family income, vaccination status, and number of family members predisposed to COVID-19. The stance on returning to school during COVID-19 survey will consist of 4 sections relating to parents' perception of COVID-19. The 4 parts examine different aspects of returning to school. The first 2 relate to parents' perception of safety for kids and teachers. The third section regards the parents' perception of the necessity of COVID-19 procedures at schools. The fourth section asks for the parents' overall stance. Additionally, the first 2 sections expand on locality by asking the same question regarding kids or teacher safety on different scales, from their own neighborhood, from their own state, across the United States, and worldwide. This is an attempt to catch any nuances to how parents perceive COVID-19 in different areas. For procedures, participants will be recruited across the United States using Amazon's Mechanical Turk. Participants will take the demographic survey and SRS COVID-19 survey before they partake in the conditions. The SRS COVID-19 survey will be administered again after exposure to a condition. After all trials are done, an independent sample teeth test will be used to analyze the results, since we are interested in the mean difference between the control, misinformation, and validated information conditions. Potential hypothetical results include the first, parents from low socioeconomic status significantly value COVID-19 precautions less than parents from high socioeconomic status. The first result may be because parents from low socioeconomic status already experience more stress due to COVID-19 due to financial, social, and family issues, which leads to higher stress levels, which results in parents that exhibit cognitive dissonance in such a way that they convince themselves that COVID-19 is not an issue and attempt to reduce their stress. A second possible result is that parents exposed to misinformation believe it is significantly safer for everyone to return to school than parents exposed to verified information. This could be because the misinformation helps minimize cognitive dissonance, making parents feel safer about returning to school. The third possible result is that parents exposed to misinformation will believe it is significantly less necessary to have COVID-19 precautions in place than parents exposed to verified information. In line with reducing cognitive dissonance, if no COVID-19 precautions are in place, then there are less reminders that COVID-19 still exists and threatens their safety. These results would imply that controlling misinformation regarding COVID-19 is essential for parents to make informed decisions. Thank you. This concludes my presentation.